let's analyze this. So, what culture wrestling is arguably, almost undoubtedly, one of the biggest wrestling sites on YouTube. Personally, well, I don't really want to say one of my favorite sites, but one of the top sites that I've used for years to get all my professional wrestling information and news. And I enjoy their top 10 lists. Well, not as much as I used to, but I enjoy their top 10 lists. But I really wanted to get to this video because just looking at the thumbnail, I know that I'm going to have a lot to say about this. I know I'm going to have a lot on my mind. And I'm going to point out, I will, and this is nothing against What Culture Wrestling. This is nothing against the people who run the channel. This is nothing against the people who will speak when this video starts. But I'm going to point out the huge hypocrisy of professional wrestling fans, mainly the IWC and the YWC. Because Jericho predicted this 10 years ago. They're the most hypocritical, fickle people that I've ever met on planet Earth. They're the most indecisive people I've ever come across in this world. They're ridiculous, man. That's the truth. Anyway, let's see what they have to say about 10 huge signings that WWE must partake in within the new year to bring their company back into prominence.
WWE's talent pool is absolutely bursting at the moment, and the company is ridiculously well stocked with top performers at every single level.
If anything, the WWE has way too much fucking talent. What do they have? Like, it said that they have about over 200 million employed wrestlers. Oh my god. This company has like the most talent, the most employees out of any company in this country. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So the last thing we need is more motherfucking talent. Just saying.
From shows like 205 Live and NXT UK, all the...
If anything, we need less fucking talent. Fire some people. Do a bus flip. That hasn't been done in a while. And I don't count this year. This year wasn't really a bus flip. It was just a bunch of wrestlers getting fired out of nowhere. Over dumb shit. Silly shit.
way up to Raw and SmackDown's big main event scenes. Basically, they've become a bunch of hoarders. Like Scrooge McDuck, Vince McMahon wants all the shiny things and he wants them to himself. And this means no matter how busy the roster gets, there will always be room for more. And if WWE want to sign the absolute best in
there will always be room for more. I don't know how much I agree on that one. Tell that to Tyler Breeze, who had to go back down to NXT just to get TV time. Tell that to fucking Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley. Hell, even Shinsuke Nakamura is the freaking United States champion. And sometimes I forget that he's the United States champion. Tell that to Joe, who was booked so awkwardly this year for really no reason. I think that the only plausible excuse for Joe's booking throughout the whole year is that he got hurt a lot, which he has. He's been hurt on a few occasions since he got called up last year. And by last year, I mean 2017. That's the truth. he had what, like an elbow injury, and he had like a little knee injury or a little ankle injury. I don't know. He's been hurt a few times though. And I've also noticed that with those injuries kind of piling up, he's gained some weight. And, you know, it's not me calling him fat now. Not saying that. Just saying. He's gotten hurt a few times. That's probably why they won't pull the trigger with him. Same thing with Braun Strowman, now that I think about it. Braun has gotten hurt a few times too.
19, then here is who they should be looking at. Before we dive into it, let's just make the point that we are not saying these guys will definitely sign. Rather, it's just a list of realistic roster boosters for the upcoming year. Though we have...
Wait. So, this is just a question, because I doubt anybody has questioned this. So they just said that they're not saying they will sign, but they're saying it would definitely be a roster booster. But the title of the video is 10 huge signings that WWE must sign. So you're highly suggesting that the company must sign these people. That seems more like a bold prediction than a bold suggestion.
Haven't included those bound to full-time contracts elsewhere for much of the year because that would be illegal. But enough of the bolo, let's get into it. I'm Andy for What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 huge signings WWE must make in 2019. Shane Strickland. Otherwise known as Lucha Underground's Killshot, Shane Strickland has been one of the main beneficiaries of WWE's increasingly aggressive talent acquisition policy, having jumped into many a spotlight once occupied by the likes of Keith Lee and Matt Riddle on the indie scene. Strickland's athletic, charismatic talents mean he has warranted a seat at independent wrestling's top table for years. That he hadn't reached that level prior to now says more about how crowded it was than anything else, and his in-ring credentials cannot be denied. That Strickland has played a pivotal role in the WWE-affiliated Evolve group this year adds further fuel to the fire, and he has reportedly been on Vince McMahon and Triple H's radar all year. Put it this way, it would be a surprise up in WWE at this stage. Number 9, Samoa.
Okay, Killshot. I could see that signing happening. I could definitely see that signing happening. My only problem with that signing is that, and I'm looking to be truthful when it comes to this channel, when it comes to these videos. You know, I want truth mixed with opinions. This is not a biased channel. This isn't I'm gonna cancel my WWE Network subscription channel. We're not here for that. So if you got any of that, I suggest you get the hell away from me. Get the hell off of this channel. This channel's not for you. I'm looking for intelligent wrestling fans. Wrestling fans who think 3D wise. They don't think just from one perspective. They don't think just from two perspectives. They think from multiple perspectives. And they don't think just from their perspective. Those are the type of fans that I look to have intelligent, unbiased, clean-cut, very adult-like conversations with on this channel. That's a fact. Now, Killshot. Unlimited potential. I've seen his work. Mainly in Lucha Underground. I haven't really seen him anywhere else. I'm going to try to check out his Evolve stuff if I can. I have the WWE Network myself, so anytime I want to watch wrestling, I just go in there. I don't really use any other platform. The network basically takes up a shitload of my time. and I need to be on that to prepare for videos like this. So, Killshot is very talented. My only problem is that we all know who he is. We all know what race he is. We all know his ethnicity. And this company has a very, very shitty history of handling, I don't want to say treating, but handling talent that look like him. They do. Don't give a damn what you say. It's still a problem. We're going to address it. It's still a problem. Okay? You know, say what you will about, oh, The Rock was world champion. Booker T was world champion. Yeah, Booker T was world heavyweight champion past his prime as King Booker. As essentially a joke character. Which is fine. I'm not knocking that. But the fact that they put the world heavyweight title on Booker T as King Booker, it was almost equivalent to them almost putting the world heavyweight title on Santino Marella. Let's be real here. When they almost did that in 2012, or they teased that they were going to do that in 2012. It was almost on that level. And I don't give a damn who disagrees with that. It was almost on that level. Mark Henry, once again, past his prime, short run, got hurt a lot. So the WWE tends to finally give those guys, those type of guys, those chances when they're damn near run down, past their prime, gotten hurt too much, and they know that they won't be able to carry the strap long enough to be a credible world champion. Not knocking Booker T. Not knocking Booker T. Booker T is, in my view, the greatest African American professional wrestler of all time. To me, he was better than Ernie Ladd. He was better than Ron Simmons. In terms of just overall talent. He was the most talented that I'd seen. But with those track records of Booker T and primarily Mark Henry, and how guys like Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews are being treated now, and even Bobby Lashley to a certain extent, I wouldn't rush for Killshot to be signed. Just saying.
Johnson, your first reaction to hearing this name on our list may very well be, what is this bald idiot talking about? So let's just clear that up nice and early. She's The Rock's daughter, so yeah, sign her now. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, the 17-year-old spent time training at the Performance Center earlier in 2018 with the ultimate goal of following in her father's legendary legacy. Now, she was only there on a part-time basis, but there is talk that she could transition to a full-time permanent role, and in doing so, she'd become a fourth-generation WWE superstar following in the footsteps of her dad The Rock, grandfather Rocky Johnson, and great-grandfather High Chief Peter Maivia. Nia Jax's situation proves that WWE will continually utilize anyone related to The Rock, no matter their ability level. Now, there's every chance Johnson Jr. could be a wrestling prodigy and someone who displays a natural aptitude for the sport well beyond her years, but let's be honest, WWE would probably push her to the moon way before she was ready, regardless. Number 8.
And that is the problem. You hit it right on the head, sir. That is the problem. That is the problem. We do not need another signing like that. What happened with Nia Jax, we don't need that to happen again. We do not need that to happen again. I remember when Nia got called up to the main roster from NXT. I was not too shocked, but I was shocked enough where I was like, what the hell is wrong with these people? First thing I said to myself, okay, so Nia gets to only be on NXT for about what? 6 months? Maybe even less than that. But Finn Balor has to be down in NXT for 2 years. Neville has to be down in NXT for 2 years. Friggin' Samoa Joe has to be down in NXT for 2 years. Shinsuke Nakamura has to be down in NXT for almost 2 years. But Nia gets called up within 6 months. And look where that has gone. Look where that has went. Her being labeled unsafe in the ring, injuring a lot of people. I mean, Nia was never ready. If you think for a second that Nia Jax was ready when she got called up, whatever you are smoking on, I highly advise you to stop smoking it. Because she was not ready. I know that for a fact. She was not ready. Called up way too early. Now, she's handled the pressure, but her in-ring performance has not reflected that. Otherwise, she wouldn't be hurting people. So the last thing we need is another inexperienced Samoan getting signed and then getting called up to the main roster within 6 months and essentially becoming another Nia Jax. No offense to Simone Johnson.
Rey Fenix. An injury robbed Rey Fenix of the last few months of 2018, but he should be ready to go by early 2019. Pentagon Jr. have already been linked with WWE next year, but after reportedly clearing their schedules a couple of months ago, it looks as though that deal may now be on ice for now. Frankly, WWE would be absolutely mental not to revive it, as both would be immediate boons to NXT. Though often the less celebrated of the two, Phoenix is the more impressive in-ring worker. He doesn't quite have his brother's personality, but he's one of the most fluid wrestlers in the world, a great seller, and a guy genuinely capable of pulling out things you've never seen on a night-by-night basis, and there's not many people you can say that about in today's modern wrestling world. And when it comes to global high flyers, only Will Ospreay and Ricochet, Phoenix is everywhere these days, working for the likes of PWG, Impact, CMLL, and AAW. If his Impact contract situation isn't too restrictive, and it doesn't sound like it is, his name should be very, very high on Triple H and Vince McMahon's wish list. Number 7.
I like Phoenix. Phoenix is really talented. And Phoenix is still young and in his prime. That's what makes it all the more exciting. And Pentagon, I love Pentagon. Pentagon was definitely my favorite in season 1 of Lucha Underground. Can you tell that I've never watched all the other seasons of Lucha Underground? So I only bring up season 1. No, but I love Phoenix because I really liked his, what is it, Grave Consequences? Was that the name of their Buried Alive match? Or their casket match in Lucha Underground? Grave Consequences. Him and, oh man, I'm blanking out on his name. Him and, hold on, I'll get it, hold on. Before you pause the video, write in the comments who the name is before you actually hear me say it. Fucking who Judas Messias became. He was Judas Messias in TNA. God damn it. Just give me a few seconds. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh man. Come on. What the fuck? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm pissed off right now. Oh my fucking god. I'm not doing this for show. Like, I'm genuinely blanking on his name right now. I am not trying to waste y'all time. I'm seriously blanking on his name. Oh man. Mil Muertes. Damn. Got it. Mil Muertes. That match with Mil Muertes at the end of season 1, the Grave Consequences match. It's fucking fantastic. Arguably, not even arguably, it was like the best casket match I'd seen in years. Probably the best casket match I've ever seen. Yeah. Holy shit, yeah. Yeah. I would like to see Phoenix and Pentagon get signed. Like I said, Killshot and Simone Johnson, that's a stretch right now, I feel like.
Hiko Satomura. Let's be clear for a second. WWE aren't going to sign Satomura to a full-time deal. The Japanese legend and Mae Young Classic competitor is too deeply involved in her country's Joshi scene to make the jump, and currently of the market-leading promotions. There's little chance she'd walk away. Work sparsely attended NXT house shows around Florida, but regardless, about pursuing a part-time deal because Satomura is one of the top something of a final boss figure in Japan, and there's no reason she couldn't play that same role in NXT, jetting in for the odd TV taping here and there, working much like a female Brock Lesnar, only, you know, without the insanely long absentee title reigns. Big showcase matches against top NXT talent makes all the sense in the world. Imagine Satomura versus Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, or Shayna Baszler on a big takeover special. The bouts would be incredible, and with Satomura widely regarded as one of the top women's wrestlers anywhere, WWE would be insane not to strike some kind of working relationship. Number 6.
They have enough Japanese stars. That's all I got. They have enough Japanese stars that they're so frequently up and down with and indecisive with. They have enough Japanese stars. And the last thing we need is another Japanese star signed who can't speak that good English, and then they force them to cut promos every single week. We don't need any more of that. We have enough Japanese stars. That's it. No more. At least for the next year. No more. Unless Shinsuke leaves or a bunch of the other Japanese stars get hurt, we don't need any more Japanese stars. We don't need any more Japanese stars. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear another broken English promo. I don't. And I know they wouldn't do that to her in NXT, but they would damn sure do that to her if she ever got called up. And I'm thinking steps ahead on this one. That's what you got to do. You got to think steps ahead. Even before they get signed, you got to think to yourself, what could they possibly do with them if they were ever to get called up on the main roster? That's what you got to think about. And once you think about that, you will know the direction in which they will go when it comes to NXT. Believe that. Not a pun. But believe that.
Pentagon Jr. Well, if we were gonna talk about his brother, it's only right that we mention Pentagon as well, because this mad skeleton